Are you dreading your next home repair? Don't. Crew Pros is your one-call solution for everything your home needs. Whether it's heating and air, plumbing, complete roof replacement, whole home generators, and electrical repairs. Our professionals get the job done right. Crew Pros is your single source for high-quality home services at affordable prices. For everything your home needs, Crew Pros. Remodel, repair, replace.
Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said, I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Grizz 901, presented by the good people over at Zach Jaworski State Farm, where they treat you like family. We're coming off we're still live in the game right now, but the Grizzlies are down by 4, and now with the Austin Reeves shot, we're down by 5 in the game. So looking at a 5 or 6 point loss by the Grizzlies. We're going to get into a little bit about the game and explain a little bit of why. Why did they lose? How did they lose? We'll answer those questions. We're also going to give you some adjustments. And then in the very end, unpopular to other people and opinions, we're going to try to give you some more silver linings looking forward and expectations going forward. But the Grizzlies do take the loss 117-111. They're now down 3-1. And so we're going to go ahead and bring in my co-host. You know who he is. All right, what's up, Nate? What's up, man?
Oh, what's up?
All right.
Defeat snatched from the jaws of victory.
God, that sucked. Let's just be honest. Let's just be fans, and let's just be honest real quick. That absolutely sucked. Like, there was nothing good about that. The Grizzlies are growing up. I believe it was 4 at one point, closing in on the game in general, and they lose that game. So let's just ask the question, and how did they lose tonight?
Carefully. Oh, man. I mean, to be honest, it unfortunately, in my eyes, still comes back to how you started the game. You started the game too bad. You started the game too poorly. They figured out who they were, which if they won this game would have been extremely promising. It's still promising. I mean, they still have a chance. It's 3-1 has been come back from before, but they're going to have to show a lot more poise, composure, and consistency to pull that off. And, it just wasn't there for the first half. And then I actually thought they showed a lot of poise down the line. Dylan, I thought, I don't know how many shots he took to start off, but I don't think he took very many, 4 in the entire second half. So he toned himself down.
Yeah.
Dez got himself going. Ja, I thought, played well, but just was hunting calls in a game where they were not going to give him calls, which John Goble officiated games.
Dude, Ja Morant, 3 points in the second half, I believe. I'm not exactly 100% sure on that, but I'm almost certain. I looked at the halftime line, and it was 16 points for Ja. And so that can't happen. That can't happen.
And, yeah, pretty much. You had too much of nothing from the wrong guys at the wrong times. You got a bunch of nothing from Jaren all night. He had a double-double, 14 and 14. He'd played well on the defensive end. Dude, he could not. I mean, there's just too many bunnies under the basket that can't be missed. And you got too many good looks from Dez that can't be missed. Too many looks from Ja that need to get finished. I mean, at the end of the day, you just threw too much nothing too often in this game, and your bench has just been what was a strong suit for you. In 2 years running, it has now become a glaring weakness. I mean, Tyus is unplayable. Tyus is unplayable, right? It's just you can't put him in the game because if he's not making shots, he's not doing anything for you, and he's not doing anything. Luke, you want to see Luke get more run, but at the same time, I know the numbers say he's really good, so maybe I'm just missing something. But he's not assertive enough out there. I don't feel confident with him out there that good things are going to happen. So maybe I'm just missing something. I know there's probably some advanced numbers proving me wrong, but from the eye test, he's not giving you anything. Roddy's giving you all he can give. He's just not ready, and Aldama's unplayable. I mean, honestly, if you have a decent bench, it probably looks a lot different. You're just throwing too much nothing for too long.
Yeah.
And I thought despite what was a horrible first half that they were able to end well.
Yeah, they took the punches.
Yeah. They just didn't have – they was just too little too late. They just couldn't – if they'd have figured it out and played like that in the first half, I think they'd have had enough separation to close out that game. But
so, all right. So I'm going to go glass half full guy real quick. All right. So I obviously think that down 3-1 sucks. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Okay. That part of it sucks because granted, we're coming home to the grindhouse for game 5. I feel like the Grizzlies have a chance to really win that. And at that point, you're 2 games left. It's a 50-50 where you're going on the road and you're coming back. All these are just one day of travel. So I'm not saying that it's completely out of the realm of possibility. Okay. I still have hope because I believe that no matter what came out of this game, I think the Grizzlies still have a chance because they've shown that at the worst possible times, the Grizzlies have won. And that is tonight. It looked like they should have won that game. They didn't. Let's get past that. I just think that this team has a chance to go ahead and get game 5. And at that point, it's put up or shut up. It's put up or shut up now. And so, as Brandon Wright said, thank you for that. It is hard to win on the road, especially in overtime. Overtime is very tough to win. And we'll talk about the referees. The referees suck.
I thought there was a lot of free
throws. I don't want to go in there too far.
I thought there was a lot of free throws in that Bucks Heats game, and I just took a look. And I wasn't sitting there. I wasn't going to say anything about the refs at all. They took over late. I mean, they made their presence felt and took over that game.
Late in the game, yes, you're right.
But 52 total free throws shot in this game.
Yeah. But
52.
What I will say is we went with our guys. And so you go with your guys. Every starter played 40-plus minutes. I do not like Dylan Brooks. I don't like his game. Not the guy in general. Okay, so I don't want to go in on the human, right? So we're going to stay away from the human. The basketball player, I do not like. I don't like his game. 1 of 7 from 3, that sucks. But just in general, if you look at 1 of 7 from Dylan, 0 of 1 from Tillman, we'll excuse that. Then 0 of 4 from Jaren, 1 of 6 from Ja, 3 of 12 from Desmond Bane. The fact that we took 42 3-pointers tonight to their 36, that is killer. They shot 27, so they did not shoot well tonight at all. And Anthony Davis was not a great player tonight. They played decent defense, and he just could not get going because they literally just played, for the most part, one-on-one defense, and it was okay.
And that's what I'm saying, man. You just got too much and nothing from too many guys. There's too many shots that needed to be hit. There's one, Jaren obviously is off tonight, but I'm thinking about, obviously, you have this things under the basket. There's one just standstill 3 in the corner.
Yeah.
That he makes in his sleep, and he misses it.
Yep.
There's a Ja one that gets everything but the bottom of the net, rims out. There's Dez looks. There's, Ty. I'm not going to say Tyus because that's just been a debacle.
Woo.
But there's
Dead
just
horse.
Yeah, there's just too much nothing. And Dylan, I mean, I've got some feelings about Dylan when it comes to off season, but we're not there yet, so I'm not going to say anything yet. Tonight, I was like, okay, what's he doing that nobody else was doing, right? I mean, he's missing a bunch of threes, but at the end of the day, the team shot 9 for 42. I thought he played within himself much more tonight. I didn't think he was actively hurting the team, but he doesn't have enough guys actively helping the team. Even Dez, 13 for 29 is nothing to write home about. It's good, but it's not amazing. And I think that was we're like, hey, this is the Dez game. Just too much nothing, man.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's where it comes down to is you look at the Hero 12, Call 12, the game that Ja had down the stretch last game. It's been a talking point. Is he going to step up? It looked like he was going to step up after last game. Tonight, I don't know what the hell happened. I just don't get it, man. Like that is just a shit performance. I'm just going to be honest. It is.
Well,
You
and
can't come down the second half and put up 3 effing points. Like that can't be. As a human, as a basketball player, you can't be the leader of a team and wither away like that. You can't be that player. Somebody asked me tonight. We're over at Bluff City Media, Mark King's house tonight. Shout out to the crew over there. It was actually a blast. I had a lot of fun, and probably haven't laughed that hard in a long time. So shout out to you all guys. But I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mark that brought up the. Would you take Shai? So Shai, I think it actually is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or John Morant. If you had a choice right now, both are in front of you. It's pick up ball. You get the first pick. Both are standing in front of you. Who are you picking? I go 12 every time just because I see him. I know who that player is. I know the dog in that guy. But my God, 3 points the whole second half.
Well,
that just sucks.
You can't call Hunt in a game. You're not getting calls. So I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Let's also, I mean, again, I don't want to just say the refs are the reason they lost this game. I'm not going to say that. That is where the refs become a major factor when you have no idea what the whistle's going to be. And that's the knock on John Goble. Well, it's one of many knocks. He's also a ginormous prick. But outside of that.
Is it the face? Does he have a prick face or is it just his?
I pay attention. His whistle changes. He's very insecure in his calls.
Very.
He's got TWS with the whistle. Like he's very insecure on it's an inside joke, you should get it. If you don't get it, then that's on you. But he saw him on that one call that was clearly out on LeBron. All it took was getting second guessed by LeBron and another official. Who, by the way, that one official, if you're going to be mad at one guy, the one dude who was
Mitchell
over
Irvin?
on the sure, yeah, that sounds about right. Dude, that guy. I'm not saying he's Tim Donaghy, but if someone was, it was that guy. If you're gonna be mad at anyone, be mad at that dude. But the John Goble whistle and John Goble Cruz, you just don't know what's gonna get called. You just have no idea, and that's where that stuff comes in. Because let's be clear, Ja was getting fouled, and like the second charge that LeBron took on him, that's a block.
I hate
There's a
that
block
play.
in the first game. There's a block in the first game. There's a block when Giannis got hurt on it. Right? It's a block, and officials have no idea how to call it. But there's all kinds of stuff like that happened. And so while, yes, Ja can't be looking for those calls, he needs to just go look to get a bucket. At the same time, in another game, maybe in another arena with the same crew, instead of 8 for 24, he's 8 for 17, and he's 5 for 8 from the free throw line, right? Or something along those lines, right? Or even more like Jimmy Butler, he's 10 for 14, 10 for 16, right? There's it and that's where officials come into play. So yeah, listen, you almost survived the Mark Davis and John Goble back to back. That would have been big, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You make shots you've been making all year. You play basketball in the first half the way you've been playing all year. I think this game looks different. I think the last game can look different, but you didn't, and you lost.
What sucks about all this is I feel like the Grizzlies played well at times. Like they played well enough defensively at times to warrant a win. They played offensively well enough at times to warrant a win. Yeah. Crunch time did not play out in their favor. Obviously, overtime did not play out in their favor. Overall, it was a game that I would look back. There's nobody that I would blame. If you had to pick one person, put you on the spot. One person to blame. Is there anybody that just sticks out to you? You're like, hey, this person is the reason that this game went the way it did?
No, not tonight.
Okay.
No,
I agree.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah. That's kind of where I stand. The Grizzlies didn't hurt themselves on the turnovers. They were 13 to the Lakers 15. They forced some decent turnovers. The points off turnovers were very consistent, 17 and 16. Fast break points were even. Points in the paint, fairly even. Fouls, the Grizzlies had 26 to the Lakers 17. I think over under, the Lakers complained on over 17 or under 17 fouls.
Over 17. You got to throw in the ones that were in their favor they complained about before they realized too.
Well, that was a trick question because the one that got called back, that was a foul that LeBron or AD, one of them did, that actually challenged and they got back. So that was a trick question. So yeah, absolutely every single foul they do, they complain, and that's just what they do. And if you hit AD, he hurts, and he does come back in, but he does hurt and he does flail and he does waller on the ground for a little while.
Underrated comedy. All of crypto screaming "ref, you suck" right after they just got a questionable foul call on Desmond Bane. I mean, it's unbelievable. But listen, that's something you knew coming in, and I'd say this series has been much better than I thought it would be from an officiating standpoint. Even tonight, I mean, it was a debacle, but it was John Goble, and as John Goble goes, that was a pretty solid game.
That was a normal John Goble.
Yeah, game. It's like hitting from the front tees when it's John Goble, right? And so you can't blame the refs. At the end of the day, it does, like, if the Grizzlies played like the basketball team they've been all season, including while Steven Adams and Brandon Clark were out at the end of the year, this is 3-1 Grizzlies at best for the Lakers. Or I'm sorry, at worst for the Grizzlies. They just haven't hit shots. They haven't played with the swagger and with the belief. I thought they had that game. I thought they found that in the second half, which if this series is tied 2-2, that makes you feel really, really good as a Grizz fan. Now they're super behind the 8 ball. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They should not win this series at this point.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I know I'm a homer, but I would be surprised if they win this series at this point. They just put themselves in such a deep hole, right? Could it happen? Sure, absolutely. Yeah. They could get hot, have that swagger they had for the second half, never lose it, and then shots start falling. You win every game you play against anybody. It's just so hard to do that in the playoffs, and especially against teams with great players. But the most frustrating part of it all is watching this play out when the Grizzlies start playing their brand of basketball. It's just so clear they are the better team.
Yeah.
It's just so clear. But part of being the better team is being able to do it consistently for a full 48. And I think that's the only thing the Lakers have done this series the Grizzlies haven't, is full 48 and bench showing up.
Yeah.
The Lakers just don't go away from their brand of basketball. And the Grizzlies are super inconsistent on doing what they want to do.
Yes, I agree. But you're talking about a young team in the Grizzlies, right? And that kind of happens for the simple thing. On the flip side, just to kind of answer a little rebuttal to what you were saying, the Lakers, they have 2 guys who they depend on the most. The defense knows they're going to depend on those 2 guys. It's really all about, can those 2 guys be amazing, which they are. Like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they're effing amazing. Okay, they're great players still. One's frail, one's getting older. They're both really good, and they're playing really good basketball right now. LeBron James just went for a 20 and 20, and that is rebounds. Like, that is amazing to me that he steps up at this point in his career at the age of 38. Listen, I'm 39, and I hurt just from driving to one house to the other.
You hurt just watching
a basketball game. Yes, I'm watching the game, and I'm hurting. Like, that happens. The fact that LeBron is playing out of his mind right now is crazy, and I hate LeBron. I think he's a tryhard, being very honest. But the simple fact is, he's playing well, and that's just part of it. But their offense is much simpler than the Grizzlies' offense. They have 2 guys. They go through 2 guys, and then they kick out accordingly. And their guys, their bench guys, their role players have actually hit shots.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies, 9 of 42 from 3. Can't happen.
Yeah, the Grizzlies bench either can't hit shots or won't shoot them. Listen, the bench you need the other guys. We've talked about this. We talked about this since like game 1 of this regular season. It wasn't Steph Curry, Klay Thompson that killed you in the Warriors series.
Yeah.
It was Kevon Looney and Andrew Wiggins and Otto Porter Jr. And so far, the Grizzlies have barely had a Ja Morant or a Desmond Bane, right? In the one game they won, they had Tillman. Tillman went off, right? But they are still too young and inexperienced to know how to get to that, to do it consistently. And I think maybe we as fans have underestimated that coming into this playoffs because of the success they've had over the past few years. I expected them to really come in mature, not having that youth be as much of a factor as other people thought it might. And I think it is playing that factor. And I think that's exactly what we're talking about. You have 2 guys who are old, experienced, championship caliber players, NBA champions that are on the other team. They know how to get to that. They know how to execute. And the Grizzlies just don't. And listen, the series isn't over, but I think we are starting to see some things that probably need to change on this team going forward. So here's hoping they can sort of work some magic and keep that what they had in the second half. They can do that for full 48 minutes. For 3 games, they'll be moving on. But if we are going to talk about it, there's some stuff that does need to change on the team going ahead.
Have no fear. Adjustments are near. Let's get into a little bit of adjustments, and then we're going to also give you a little bit of the silver linings. We're going to give you a positive outlook. We're going to send you out. We're going to pat you on the butt. We're going to put a smile on your face. We're going to send you to bed. But then if you're listening to this the next day, we're going to put a smile on your face. We're going to pat you on the butt, do all that kind of good stuff. But it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a new day. It's going to be Tuesday, which is, I guess it already is Tuesday. Before we get there, let's go through a little bit of the chat questions and the chat comments. We talked a little bit about being tough to win on the road. Go through these very quick, just to kind of make sure we kind of say thank you, but also say hello to our friends over in the chat. John Goebel, a garbage human being. Agree or disagree?
I don't know him well enough. On the court, yes.
So everything the referee, garbage human being.
The referee, John Goebel, is a garbage human being. The man, John Goebel, at dinner could be a good guy. Where would I put my money? Probably not on that. But hey, I don't know him as a guy.
We'll call him a bad guy. All right, wasted Tillman having a defensive game of his life. Man, Tillman played well tonight. Tillman's earning that contract.
Earning some money.
He is. They have a team extension next year. I believe it's $1.5 million or maybe $2 million.
They'll be picking that
Dak
up.
also says that the Grizzlies couldn't buy a call. Question on this one: crunch time never plays out in our favor. Is that a Taylor Jenkins thing?
No, because it was that complete opposite last year. The last year, the Grizzlies were an amazing crunch time team, right? And you had one of the best fourth quarter players in the league. So, no. And listen, do I think Jenkins rotations are weird? Would I do things differently? Sure. But at the end of the day, the team shot 9 for 42 from 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if that's happened all season. So it was a brutal night, and it's been a brutal series from the Grizzlies from a lot of different standpoints. Taylor has some blame. It's not all on Taylor.
Yep. Hello, ball, meet ocean. We're just trying to throw it in. All right, tie us on the team next year.
I don't pretend to have a crystal ball into the Grizzlies front office. Nate, the GM, has been trying to trade this guy for months. So pretty much the only reason it hasn't been talked about since Magic 8 Ball says maybe Zaire will be good next year.
Signs aren't looking good.
Ask again. No, in all seriousness.
Please shake again.
And we're not going to slander Tyus here. That's not what
I like the human.
But the only reason that trading him hasn't been brought up lately is because the trade deadline's passed. I think that you need to start moving towards winning, contention, playoff mindset. If you're the Grizzlies, and winning, contention, playoff mindset is Ja's healthy or we're in a hole.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is, and it's luck is a factor, injury luck is a factor. And so you need to trade Tyus for guys who can maximize what your core guys do. And your core guys are Ja, Jaren, then Dez. And then after that, you need guys that complement them. And to complement them to the best of their abilities, and you need shooters. You just need guys that can drill shots and can get on heaters. And Tyus,
he's been that though.
He did it last year. And then this year he did it, but only as a starter.
He needs to be a starter, I believe. I think they need to move off of him and let him spread his wings. I think it's time.
I think
All right,
so
let's get last few I kind of want to hit on. John needs a jump shot. Listen, I agree. It's kind of the capping of the ceiling a little bit. Do you agree that that's actually a fair statement, that him without a jump shot is kind of a cap on the ceiling of his team?
I don't think he needs. Well, I think what people want is for Ja to have a Chris Paul jump shot, where it's like, oh, he's going to hit that mid range every time. And let me tell you, it's just not going to happen. That's just not going to be Ja Morant. If it is, then I'll eat my words and it'll be the happiest words I ever eat. But that's not what Ja Morant's built to do. But you see, he just needs to be respected from the 3-point line, which he is respected from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
There's a lot less going under screens on him this year than there have been in years past. And after that, you just need guys that he can kick it to or he can lob it to. That's what Trae Young is. You don't see Trae Young pulling up middies all the time. That's not what he does. He does the whole floater thing. But I think they need, and I think this is not a conversation if you have Steven Adams. Because what I was about to say is you need someone that can help Ja navigate screens to get to the dang floater.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just there's no one that is a big enough body and a skilled enough screener to do that.
Well,
and
I think you get the same thing happen, though. They're just AD is literally playing in the middle of the paint, drop coverage, and saying,
that's what I'm saying.
What
that's
else
what I'm
you
saying,
gonna
though.
do?
Adams is a big enough body that he creates that space for Ja, right? And that's what you look at Trae Young. We're going to stay on that example. Capella is a big enough body that does that for him. Jaren has a big enough body, but he doesn't know how to do that. He's so uncomfortable trying to do that, right? And so he just doesn't. You don't have one of the highest impact players in the NBA that most people don't know about. They know about him, but not his impact. And Adams out, and then Clark obviously is a big injury for them as well. So they're missing guys that are important to them. They just are, and so would Ja developing a jumper be awesome? Of course, it would be awesome.
Yeah,
I think he has enough of a jumper already. That's fine, but what he does have to rely on that floater more and just settle for the jumpers and drop coverage. The launching into AD and stuff, that's just he's got to be careful. It's too much.
AD is too long. He's too long. Last one before we get into the adjustments of the night. This is all for me. That Luke 3 at the game. Infuriating. Listen, you might be infuriating, but I promise you, I had a ticket that has Grizzlies plus 6.5. I was happy about. So happy, sad the entire time, but happy that 3 went in. It was big for me. All right, let's get into a little bit of the adjustments of what is heading forward. So we'll go ahead and let you start off. Adjustments. What needs to change? What are you changing? Like, what are we looking at? Like, we're trying to be mechanics.
Hold on. We're going to do a segment. Upcoming adjustments brought to you by Blanton's, where luxury meets affordability. All right. I'm going to tweet them after this. I'm keeping it going. It's going to happen for us one day, Daniel. I would say that whole thing where the ball kept not going in the basket, you make it go in.
That's the adjustment. That's a good adjustment.
The other adjustments I was going to say is, and I'm not an X's and O's guy. Like, that's you're the coach brain, right? What I wanted to see from them is like, where is the desperate energy matching the Lakers? and they found it. They were the more physical team. They were out hustling the Lakers. At most, they were dead even, or at worst, I'm sorry, they were dead even with the Lakers in energy, hustle, physicality. Other than that, if your shots fall tonight, you win that game. If you shoot the ball just half decent, you win it by double digits. The ball just got to go in the basket. It really does have to go in the basket. And so the only adjustments, if they had the ball didn't have to even go in the basket that much if they'd found their identity in the first half. But that's it. Get the shots to fall.
39.6% from the field, 21.4 from 3-point, 21.4
Get the
from
shots to
3-point
fall.
line.
I thought there's a lot less BS this game. We talked a lot the last full post game we did.
Right.
Like Aldama can't be taking all these shots. Dylan can't be taking all these shots. Roddy can't be taking all these shots. The only one who took a bunch of them tonight was Roddy. I think he took 3 on the same possession when he kept smoking out. Maybe it was just he pump faked so many times under the basket. I thought he took 4 shots. But I thought there's a lot less BS. You got good shots from mostly guys you wanted taking them. He's got to fall.
Listen, I don't want to completely just simplify this. That's the truth. The Grizzlies played with enough energy tonight to win the game. They played well enough to win the game. They have not been a good team on the road. That's just plain and simple. I don't know why, but they have not been a good team on the road. They played well enough to win. The Grizzlies just did not win. It's just plain and simple. They didn't shoot well.
Yep.
Whatever. Real quick, shout out to our guy, Dak Daniels. Listen, it's 1:30 for him, 12:30 for us. What is it, 11:30 for you?
11:30 for me.
Not bad. So, spoiler alert, I will say that Grizz in 7. Listen, I've doubted this team, and I have been wrong many a times. I don't doubt that this team will show up and give a hell of a punch. They're going to absolutely punch them in the nose in game 5. It's all about game 6, in my opinion. If the Grizzlies bow out in game 5, I would be shocked. I'll go on record with saying I will be absolutely shocked if the Grizzlies lose game 5 and don't even have a chance to go back to LA. But let me just another little spoiler alert. Grizzlies win game 5. You're saying, so you're telling me there's a chance? You're telling me there's a chance. You go back to LA. Dude, the pressure is off at that point. The pressure is back to LA and the Lakers. Yep. You win that one, you're playing with house money. So there's a chance. Listen, we'll give you all your feel good moments in our last segment that we're going to come up with here in about a few minutes. But game adjustments in general, you went with your starters tonight. Everybody played over 40 minutes. Dylan didn't shoot you out of the game. Dylan hadn't shot well. He was still 4 of 11. I think overall, I think what I would do is make sure that you try to get Anthony Davis out of a guy who can just pitch a tent underneath of the basket and just wait for Ja to come up to him and contest. I think what you could do is go ahead and switch Xavier Tillman for Luke Kennard. I think we talked about this in our group text. You go small. I feel confident that we still have Dylan, who is a very good defender. You can even go to Roddy if for some reason Dylan gets in trouble with foul trouble. You switch with either Tillman or you switch with Jaren, depending on foul trouble, depending on what part of the game it is. And you just go small and just see if there's a way that you can go ahead and give them a different wrinkle. You spread the court a little bit more. Maybe that allows Ja, even Dez, to hit some open shots, maybe get some early. I would look to see if you can get the Grizzlies going early. If you can get the Grizzlies going early, I think it's a different kind of game.
I think you got to try that small ball lineup with Ja, Dez, Luke, Dylan, Jaren, or even Luke, Jaren, X, right? Because X has been holding his own defensively against LeBron. There's maybe you can just roll with that, and it's not even small. You just survive without Dylan out there on defense, right? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm not sure whether they can survive without any kind of competent on-ball defender, but it's worth a shot. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to start hitting shots.
Well, you got to think about it. Okay. A 38-year-old guy who just went off for 20 plus and 20 rebounds, 22 and 20 with 7 assists. A hell of a night, by the way. Just crazy good night by LeBron. But the fact that you're having that guy now 1 day of rest with travel going forward, like that's just the way it is from the rest of the next 3 games, depending on whenever the series concludes. That catches up to him in general. But also, you're talking about a game 5. He probably doesn't want to just go all out. He wants to let the game fall to him. And if it falls to him, they're going to go for it in the last quarter.
Yeah.
But in the first few quarters, they're not going to go for it. That's when I would try some things. See if you can get the energy up. See if you can get David Roddy out there. Maybe be an energizer bunny a little bit for you. And maybe go ahead and make some things happen that normally doesn't happen. Maybe go small. There's so many different things you could try. I think you're playing with the house money at that point in game 5, because unless they just completely run off and it's an easy game, they're not going to fight hard if you get up on them. And so I don't know what happens in that point, but I would go as far as I could in the very first half. You give a home run effort, because if you do, your likelihood you have a team that might actually just kind of fold over and play for game 6.
Yeah, and I think the Grizzlies need a blowout in game 5 to get momentum on their side. And listen, momentum when you're going against a team with experience of LeBron and Anthony Davis is only going to get you so far. It's not going to be like it is against probably like the Timberwolves, where I thought the Grizzlies stole momentum and then they were able to go take it in game 6 in Minnesota because of that. But you need that on your side for yourself, for your own belief, for your own energy heading in, because you're going to have to steal one. Since game 1, you're going to have to steal one in crypto. I was about to call it Staples in crypto. And you need to have the belief in yourself to be able to do that. So we'll see. I think they'd come out with a home run effort. I think LeBron could care less about closing it out in game 5 unless it's there for the taking, just like you said. And so I think Grizz need to get in there, hammer them in the first half, take care of business, and then try and steal one in Staples. Sorry, crypto. Try and steal one in crypto. If you can steal one in crypto, then it's a do or die game at home. So the path's really simple. It's just tough. Simple but hard.
So David has the actual script. Can you, by any chance, give us a little bit of the cliff notes to this? Like, do we have an idea about Game 5? Like,
well, I've seen about 5 different scripts for the game, and none of them have been correct so far. Even though the only one that I think we all knew was the right. I would call it a script of writing on the wall once we got John Goebel in a important game.
God,
on
that
the road.
sucks. Real quick though, before we give you our silver linings and the last kind of segment that we have before we kind of get out of here, our show has been for the entire year presented by Zach Jaworski, State Farm. Those guys are the best. He's a friend of mine personally, but also just in general, they're good people. And so if you're looking for any kind of insurance at all, give them a call. They're local, obviously here in East Memphis, as well as the Collierville area. They have 2 different offices, but give them a call, 901-794-3691. You can get a free quote online at zachinsuresmemphis.com. That's ZACH, zachinsuresmemphis.com. Anything that you need insurance-wise, they will hook you up. So heading into Game 5, it's going to be back in the grindhouse, back with our fans who are going to be bonkers. It's going to be the Wednesday night. I believe it's the 6:30 game. Isn't that correct?
I do not know. I'm looking at it right now.
6:30 game. The Grizzlies are officially favored by 3.5.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct. Oh, that's correct.
Feel good about that, the Vegas, that the odds makers are coming out and saying it's a 3.5. They came out initially and said it's going to be a 4.5 game, and for the Lakers, it played true to form. We're talking about 3.5 for the Grizzlies. Feel good about that?
I wasn't listening. Sorry, I was trying to find this quote. But I don't want to bring it up. So what did you ask me?
No, I was saying that the odds makers have now put out that it's the minus 3.5. So they're expecting the Grizzlies by win by 3 or 4 points. That's what they're expecting. If you're looking at that line, does that make you feel better in general?
No, I mean, but I don't feel bad.
Like, no, listen, but just thinking about it, like the odds makers are saying it would be a pick'em game, or it would be the Lakers by 1. You're like, okay, maybe they see something we don't see.
Unmoved. I would feel worse if they put Lakers favored for some reason. I'll say that I would feel worse, but that's sort of what I expect. I guess I don't feel sure. It makes me feel good. There we go. Because it aligns with what I thought, which is that the Grizzlies should be favored and should win that game.
Okay. Well, that's what I was kind of getting at. I think that the Lakers not being favored is big for the Grizzlies, okay? Because normally you're talking about an LA team that people are going to put their money on more. They're similar to like the Dallas Cowboys, right? No matter what the line is, you could probably say it's probably off by a point or two, depending on, what side it favors their team. The fact that the Grizzlies are favored by 3.5 at home, one, that they are a very good team at home. Two, they're going to come out with the hero's effort, especially the first half. So I'm excited that we'll see. What I would look at if I was betting, which obviously I do with Bluff City Bet. Shout out to Chase. I would look at the Grizzlies first half. I think it's going to be a very good game. I'd even looking at Grizzlies win by 10 or more points. I think it's going to be a game that is probably the blowout game of the entire series. Anything that you want to hit on with the silver linings or this, like looking at Game 5, Grizzlies obviously have to come out with their hair on fire. What are you thinking of? Kind of the positive note here.
Nate, silver linings brought to you by, I think one of the silver linings is for fans, and this is coming in again from purely a fan perspective. Like, I think you can just have fun. And I think you can just have fun because there's no expectations. Again, we're not going to sugarcoat it. There's no expectations for this team to pull out this series. You get to have fun just watching a team go out there and compete, and maybe that's good for them. They've got to get to a place where they don't have to be an underdog to go play free. But the fact of the matter is, when they're an underdog, they tend to play pretty free, right? And so we get to see that. Hopefully we see that team that we saw for most of the second half again on Wednesday night.
Yep, Wednesday.
And then again on Friday night. And then after that again on, I guess that'd be a Sunday night. Right? And listen, this is a young team that's full of guys who don't know no better. So them getting to a Game 7 would not be the most shocking thing in the world. Right. But all that to say is fans, like, there's no expectations either for us. Now you just go have fun watching the team play, and like all the expectations out the window. Just get to have a blast watching a team compete, and now you can kind of be surprised. And then the main silver lining is what we've already talked about, which is the team found themselves in that second half. That we hadn't seen that team, I guess maybe for a little bit of Game 2 when Tillman was cooking, because you had a different random dude stepping up. And that's within a team identity. Outside of that, we haven't seen this team be this team all series until the second half, in my opinion, right? We hadn't seen the Grizzlies play with that edge and that physicality and what I've been describing all night as belief until that second half. And so if there's any reason for optimism, it's that. It's that. And when they have that belief, that 9 for 42 could turn into 19 for 42 really quick. And that could carry on for 3-4 games. So,
yeah. So listen, I'll just kind of, just give it pretty simple. the Grizzlies have not shot well. And the fact of the matter is they played bad, they've not shot well, and there's a really good chance that if they were to catch fire, we're talking about 5 days in general from the time you play game 5 all the way to game 7 that you can kind of catch a heater as a team, as a person, whether it's one player, whether it's two people, and you could actually get on a streak that you can win a few games in a row. And honestly, that's really all you need. But the fact that the Grizzlies have been in the series with chances to win, they've outplayed the other team for the majority of the time in most of the quarters, and they've shot this bad. That is a whole nother conversation for the offseason. But as currently constructed, they have shot terrible. And there's a chance that they still have it might be a fan's hope right now. It might be a very biased hope. I just think the Grizzlies still have the chance. I said it this morning before the game that even if they do lose, this team is good enough to come down from 3-1 just for the simple fact that they have 2 games at home. That's what I always bank on is you set yourself up because you've been the second best team in the Western Conference. You have a chance to win. The good thing is listen, we've gotten Mark Davis out of the way. We've gotten John Goble out of the way. I don't envision to see either one of those 2 referees back in the series. So you're saying that, yes, everything has sucked. We have a chance to not have either one of those 2 guys back in this series. 3 games left. They're not coming back in this series again. We might have some better efforts from officials.
Yeah, we will. You can't have worse efforts from officials than. And listen, like I said, I thought John Goble gave it his absolute darndest tonight. That was a great John Goble game, and it still is the worst thing on television. So you got Mark Davis, who gives incompetence a name, and then you got John Goble, who gives insecurity a name. And I thought they both did the best job I've seen them do in a long time. So, again, I can't put any of it on the officials. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just getting my kicks off because, God, those guys are trash, and I have to take every opportunity I can. I can't believe they're NBA officials. But tonight and the last game, I thought was some of the best work I've seen. That's sadly not sarcasm. Yeah. So this team, as long as they're in it, as long as the series isn't over, this team has a shot. It is not over till it's over. I think it's pretty clear they shouldn't be favored or expected to win. At the same time, I'm going to show up and root for them to win every game until there's no games left to win. So I think we can all do the same. And again, have fun doing it, right? Like,
I agree.
This is, and we'll talk about this a lot more when we get to the offseason in a couple of months, but this has not been a fun season.
Oh, my God.
It's not been.
I said that in the offseason, that last year was the last year of just pure fun because there's no expectations. And this year we had the night in Denver, and it was the worst.
There's still ways to have fun with expectations. There's still ways.
I agree
to do that, and that's not been this year. That's not been what's happened. And so let's end it on a good note by having fun watching these games. And then you have enough fun, there's a chance the fun keeps going, right? And it's not your last game. So I'm going to be having fun, which will include some words I'm not allowed to say at the TV. But that's part of fun, right? That's just boys being boys. I feel like you're not allowed to say that anymore. But
don't tempt me with a good time, because I promise you I will have
good time. Sponsored to you by Blanton, where luxury meets affordability. Dude, 3 ad spots in one night. I'm on a roll.
All right, let's close it out. Let's put a bow on this game. The Grizzlies obviously lose 117-111. Is in overtime. It was a good game in general. I enjoyed the game. I obviously hated the last few minutes of regular time, but And there was something in my stomach the entire fourth quarter or the entire overtime that just sucked. Like it just sucked. Like there's that feeling that you get and you're just like, man, this sucks in general. And just something isn't going good. I just don't feel good about it. But in the end, the Grizzlies do take the loss. They go down 3-1. Game 5, 6:30 on TNT here in the Grindhouse. I expected that they're going to be a home run effort, as we've talked about many times. Anything that you want to kind of hit on before we kind of close this out?
Just you good looking? Nah, I got nothing. Dude, it's late. Listen, I don't know what you want from me. This is what happens. I watched Brian Windhorst, who is a professional, like a real professional.
Not us.
Look half-baked for an hour and a half straight on Hoop Collective because of how late it was. We have that excuse too.
Yeah. Listen, it's been a sad, bad night in general because you have that chance that you go 2-2, come back to the Grindhouse 3 to play. Man, you're feeling so good. Like tonight is a completely flip of emotions. Like you have that chance, and you're going to the fourth quarter. You're closing it out, and it just not wrap up the way you want it to wrap up. And so not going to sugarcoat it. It sucked, but the Grizzlies aren't out of this thing. Like with way the schedule flips, we're coming back Wednesday, day off. If they win, then you have a day off. Then you're going back Friday. They win again. You have a day off. You're going to be the Sunday show. You're going to be the Sunday game. And so do the boys step up? We're only going to see, and we're going to see it right at the Grindhouse. So if you have a chance, go get tickets, man. Make this place Memphis all the way through and through. This could be your last chance to see them for the year, and this has been a special team. So I don't want to completely put that out of the realm of possibility. This could be your last time to see them in person, as long as you don't plan on going to LA. But this could be. And so go and get your tickets and cheer on our guys. Don't sell them to Lakers fans. Let's make this a home court advantage. And let's go ahead and let the guys step up and let this be a 20-point win. And let this be a blowout. And maybe they find their mojo. Maybe they find their moxie and the guys start shooting again. At that point, if the Grizzlies start shooting well from deep, then who knows what could happen. This series could absolutely flip on its head. We could have a historic series. We could have a come from behind of 3-1. And at that point, man, that would be awesome. But we're going to have this coming out. So make sure if for some reason you want to go back and listen to this, you can go back and listen on YouTube. If you're listening on Twitter, we just want to say thank you to everybody. This has been an unbelievable time. This season, crossing over to Bluff City Media. Always want to shout out them. If you have a chance, obviously subscribe, rate, review, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We want to get it up to 1,000. That's kind of been our goal, is to get it up to 1,000 and kind of just by the end of the playoffs. So we're nearing that. So if you have a chance, just subscribe. You're going to get all of our stuff. You can get notified immediately.
Just do it, man.
Just do it. And then also the podcast, we always put all stuff out right after I go ahead and edit everything after the show. So at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll be editing just for you guys, so you have it first thing. But give us a rate, a review. That helps us. Every like, every thumbs up, every subscription, everything you do for us, it helps get us up into the algorithm of algorithms. You know what I mean? It helps us. So. But that's all we have. If you're not a Bluff City Media subscriber or insider, go ahead and sign up. Use code Grizz901. It'll save you 10% off for an annual membership. But that's all we have. Excited about Game 5?
I am. It ought to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Will be. I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're doing this for you guys, but also it's always a blast. Listen, any chance we get to come on here and do this, it's always a good time. So there's not much else to say. You know what we going to say as soon as I can get this off of the thing. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't get it off. That's it. Be nice and tell your friends.